What do you need?
ちょっと話を聞かせてくれ。
Ask away.
前から聞きたかったんだけど、テンプル騎士って具体的に何ができるんだ？
Essentially, they're trained to fight. The Chantry would tell you that the Templars exist simply to defend. But don't let them fool you. They're an army. The other main purpose for a Templar is, of course, to hunt mages. To that end, we train in talents that drain mana and disrupt spells.
テンプル騎士じゃなくても、その能力を学ぶことはできるのか？
Perhaps, but there usually isn't much of an opportunity. The Chantry keeps a close rein on its Templars. We are given lyrium to help develop our magical talents, you see. Which means we become addicted. And since the Chantry controls the lyrium trade with the dwarves, well, I'm sure you can put two and two together.
それじゃあまるで、テンプル騎士を管理するために、教会が彼らをリリウム中毒者にしているみたいだ。君もリリウム中毒なのか？
Thankfully, no. You only start receiving lyrium once you've taken your vows. You don't need lyrium in order to learn the Templar talents. Lyrium just makes Templar's talents more effective. Or so I was told. Maybe it doesn't even do that. The Chantry usually doesn't let their Templars get away either, so they can spread their secrets. I'm a bit of an exception. Lucky me.
次はグレイボーデンについて教えてくれ。ここから一番近いグレイボーデンはどこにいるんだ？
That's a good question. There's plenty in Orlais, but who knows where they might be found. And the nearest Orlesian city is weeks away. If we go north and cross the sea, there's bound to be some in the free marches. Again, however, I just don't know where. I don't know anything about Grey Wardens in other lands.
アリスターもウォーデンになって日が浅いからな。本部みたいなところはないのか？
Here in Ferelden, there's our compound in Denerim at the palace, but that's it. Loghain will have control over that and be watching it, no doubt. Beyond that, the only place I know of is Weishaupt Fortress. That's the headquarters of all Grey Wardens in the Anderfells, 1,000 miles from here. But I've no idea how to even contact them. So unless we try to get back to the compound in Denerim, I suppose the answer is no. There's nowhere for us to go.
そうなのか。それじゃあ、ブライトにも俺たち二人だけで対処しなくちゃならないのか？
I imagine that eventually the Grey Wardens outside of Ferelden will wonder what's happened. Why there's no contact from Duncan or someone. They'll send someone eventually. Though who knows what Loghain's people in Denerim will tell them. Maybe they won't send anyone. We could try to contact them. But that would mean leaving Ferelden, and even if we did, they couldn't come back with us in time to stop the Blight. So that means whatever happens, it's up to us.
それなら、フェレルデンのウォーデンを再編成したらいいんじゃ？
I mean, eventually we would have to use the joining to make more Grey Wardens, right? But I don't know how to do the joining, or what's involved. I know it involves lyrium and some other magic and that it's really difficult to prepare, but that's it. Unless we can find out more about the joining, I guess we better get used to the idea that there might only be two of us for now. Until more come from elsewhere.
結局俺たちだけしかいないのか。もし俺たちがここを去ったら？
Just left? You mean just left Ferelden? I don't know. If there's an archdemon, however, we're supposed to be the only ones who can defeat it. And that means the Blight would grow unchecked. Eventually, other Grey Wardens in Orlais and other lands would hear about it, and they would come to fight it, but they wouldn't come in time to save Ferelden. There's no way. I'm not going anywhere.
俺たちしかいないってのは、よくわかったよ。君がグレイウォーデンになった経緯を教えてくれ。
Same way you did. You drink some blood, you choke on it, and pass out. You haven't forgotten already, have you?
忘れるはずがないだろ。一生忘れないさ。そうじゃなくて、儀式の前のことを聞いてるんだよ。
Let's see, I was in the Chantry before. I trained for many years to become a Templar, in fact. That's where I learned most of my skills.
それにしては、信仰心があるようには見えないな。
You're telling me I was banished to the kitchens to scour the pots more times than I can count. And that's a lot. I can count pretty high. The Grand Cleric didn't want to let me go. Duncan was forced to conscript me, actually, and was she ever furious when he did. I thought she was going to have us both arrested. I was lucky.
教会から出られて嬉しかったのか。テンプル騎士でいるより、グレイウォーデンの方が良かったの？
Oh, I suppose the Chantry life is good enough for some. Here, we have the chance to fight against the blight, to actually do some good instead of sitting in a temple somewhere. I'll always be thankful to Duncan for recruiting me. If it hadn't been for him, you know, I wouldn't have.
アリスター。ダンカンはいい人だった。
He was. A good man who didn't deserve his fate. That much I'm sure of. Come on, let's go. I think I'm done talking.
もう少しだけ話を。君は教会が嫌いみたいだけど、どうしてテンプル騎士としてとどまっていたんだ？
Have you seen the uniform? It's not only stylish, but well made. I'm a sucker for good tailoring.
ユニフォーム？少なくとも、君が着てるところを見たことがないけどな。
I keep it hidden under my pillow. Sometimes I'll take it out just so I can hug it fondly and remember the good old days. Brings a tear to the eyes, you know.
そうやって、君は話をそらすんだろ？
I'd use my shield if I could, but I think you might actually spot me hiding behind it. You don't really want to know about my being a Templar, do you? It's really quite boring.
それなら、面白くなるように脚色してくれ。
You know, I like the way you think. You're all right. If you're really curious, then I'll tell you. The truth of the matter is that I did hate going to the monastery. The initiates from poor families thought I put on airs, while the noble ones called me a bastard and ignored me. I felt like Al-Eamon had cast me off, unwanted, and I was determined to be bitter. But I took some solace in the training itself, I guess. I was actually quite good at it.
訓練で楽しかったのはどんなことだった？
The education, mostly, but also the discipline. You need to have a disciplined mind in order to use the abilities we have. It was difficult, but rewarding. I never really felt at home anywhere, though, until I joined the Grey Wardens. And Duncan felt my Templar abilities might be useful for when we encountered Darkspawn magic, so I kept it up. What about you? Do you have anywhere you consider home?
俺の家は、ハウに奪われてしまったから。
Right. Stupid of me to ask. I'm sorry. We won't always be traveling like this, you know. Once the war is over, once the blight is... Well, a time will come when we'll have to think about having a real home again. Though that seems like a far ways off. And I suppose the Grey Wardens are gone for good. Either way.
いないなら、また作ればいい。これが終わったら、フェレルデンのウォーデンを増やしていこう。
I suppose you're right. We can create new Grey Wardens, but we'll never get back those we lost. I wonder if it would ever feel the same. Anyhow, now I've sidetracked us. We'd better get back to what we're supposed to be doing right now.
故郷か。俺にも、また故郷と言える場所ができるのだろうか。